What's up, board fam? Eric here, and every time you open YouTube, it's there. A title that makes your blood boil, a thumbnail designed to trigger you, a clip cut just tight enough to make someone look insane, and the craziest part, it works. Outrage isn't just part of the internet anymore, it is the business model. On this channel, we've looked at creators who thrive on that formula, channels that turn everyday disagreements into moral emergencies, channels that know anger spreads faster than facts. And today, we're gonna zoom out and ask a bigger question: who benefits from all of this? I wanna show you something interesting from Scott Galloway, a marketing professor at NYU, tech investor, and someone who spent years studying how platforms monetize attention. He's not some random commentator. This is a guy who understands how media ecosystems are engineered, and he argues that outrage isn't an accident, it's an infrastructure. What he says connects the dots between algorithms, profit, polarization, and the exact type of content we've been breaking down on this channel. So first, let's look at a few YouTube examples that perfectly illustrate the pattern, and then we'll come back to what Galloway says about how this keeps happening and why it's not slowing down. First up, we have everyone's favorite grift channel, Nerdrotic, an outrage grifter through and through with 1.26 million subscribers on YouTube. Let's take a look at some of his videos here. We have a bunch of Star Trek Starfleet Academy videos with characters, AI characters, screaming into the sky. They're all upset, or they look kooky or weird. We have some like negative Harry Potter stuff. This is all outrage currency. And of course, he's not the only channel doing this. Let's look over at The Critical Drinker, another channel that makes tons of money off of your outrage. It's printing money for him with 2.42 million subscribers. We have Production Hell. It's time to let Star Trek die. Crash and Burn. This is a video series of his, one of his more popular ones, where he goes through and talks negatively about every single celebrity that he's ever talked about on his channel. Not surprising, not shocking at all. This is just more outrage slop. We also have channels over here like Ryan Kennel, RK Outpost. His channel is one of the worst, and I think it's probably because he's a low-tier outrage grifter, somebody who hasn't hit 500,000 subs yet, who is still suckling off the teat of outrage. As you can see, every single one of his videos is designed to make you, the viewer, feel angry and want to click on it only to hear him yell and scream and squawk with his content. Everything is an absolute over-the-top, just hyperbole version of whatever it is. That's what he does. Lastly, we have Geeks and Gamers, another channel that, again, he stopped making videos. We talked about this the other day. He said, I'm gonna start making videos again because the cornering said that my channel is dead. I'm gonna prove him wrong. Well, you stopped 3 weeks ago. So right after the drama, right after the drama dried up. But again, look, more outrage, just more and more and more outrage content. So let's go over and look. We're going to check out a video from The Daily Show. And this is Professor Scott Galloway. And he's going to explain to you guys how all of this ties together. I really enjoyed this clip and I want to share it with you. Let's get into it.
1 in 7 men are called NEETs. They're not in education, they're not in employed, and they're not in training. Effectively, you have the deepest pocketed companies in the world that represent 40% of the S&P who have one mission, and that is to sequester you from your family. And the way they do that is we used to think sex sells. We figured out there's something that sells better than sex, and that's rage. So you have a group of young men whose prefrontal cortex doesn't catch up to a woman until it's 25, is looking for that immediate dopa. And they think, I can have a reasonable facsimile of life online. Why go through the pecking order of having friends when I have Discord and Reddit? Why go through the BS of putting on a tie and navigating the corporate world when I can trade stocks or crypto on Coinbase or on Robinhood? And why would I go through the humiliation, the expense, the rejection, the perseverance of trying to establish a romantic relationship when I have lifelike porn? Big tech is not our friend. The bottom line is, they are doing everything they can to sequester you from the most meaningful and important thing in your life, and that is relationships. Get off your phone.
Wow. Wow. I saw this clip and it resonated with me in such a big way, particularly because he so eloquently put into this little 1-minute clip so much of what we've been talking about over the years, the people in this space. We've been telling you guys that, and if you're watching this video, if you're stumbling on this video and you are someone that watches any of the channels I talked about or a channel like that, a lot of this probably resonates with you. You've realized that so many of the things that the world tried to sell you originally is unobtainable, but you deserve to have it, and that's what these guys are doing. They are telling you and they are selling to you this outrage that you are being held back from everything you could possibly have in life by other factors. It's not you, and it never was you. It's all of these other people holding you down. You don't get your job because women are getting jobs? That's because of them, not because of you. You're not seeing yourself reflected in a movie or a TV show? Not enough straight white cisgender men? That's not because of you. It's because there's some insidious message and ideology that's stealing these things away from you. You're not making enough money? Well, that's just because the rest of the country only wants to give jobs to people through DEI. It is never your fault. It is everyone else's fault. And you might be saying, well, this is true, obviously. But as you've seen in this video, that is the lie that big tech has been pushing to you through content creators that are selling you outrage. And they are doing it knowing that they're going to live very fulfilling lives off of the money they make here on YouTube and on social media, doing this to you. They're going to be able to live lives and enjoy it, and possibly they're going to enjoy all the things that they're telling you that you shouldn't enjoy, because there's no accountability. How do you know that Nerdrotic doesn't like Star Trek Starfleet Academy? How do you know? How do you know that? Do you know for sure? Are you 100% certain? Or is he only doing it because the algorithm is rewarding him because you're outraged and you're going to click on whatever outrage he puts out? If it weren't for the fact that I had standards for myself and I didn't want to contribute to any of this ecosystem, tomorrow, if I started an outrage channel and started doing what those guys are doing, I could do it successfully because there's no accountability for any of this. When people ask me, Eric, why don't you debate Nerdrotic or Critical Drinker? They don't have to debate me. They have no incentive to debate me. People say, why don't you ask them? Because they're not going to. You know why? Because they've never debated anybody. Not when they've reached the heights they've reached. They have no reason to do it. There's absolutely no benefit in debating me. I'm a smaller channel, and I would challenge them on any of their beliefs. And their beliefs, I honestly feel, are not true beliefs. They're based on the money they're making. And so they would have no way to push back against anything reasonably because they never have. If you see them on Piers Morgan, you will see that anytime anyone challenges them on anything, they shudder, they curl up, they don't respond to it. Matter of fact, here's an example. Let's watch a quick clip from Piers Morgan. This is from a year or so ago, where Nerdrotic and Critical Drink are on here spouting off all their nonsense. And when somebody challenges them in any of this, they don't respond at all. They shut down. They have specific talking points. And if you've ever watched any of their videos, you will recognize every single thing they're saying in this clip. Let's go ahead and watch it.
The woke brigade that's within their building, right? So,
Right.
you know, we see all these third-party companies in gaming that's going off right now.
Of course.
But like Disney is that third-party company. They are the DEI department. Lucasfilm is the DEI department.
Sound familiar?
Now Marvel is too. And it was really easy for comic book fans to figure this out because we read the comic books.
Right.
She-Hulk, for example, was a great comic book. It was reverent. It broke the fourth wall. That the famous run is by John Byrne, and I love the comic book. Like, She-Hulk was a member of the Fantastic Four. This is one of my favorite female Marvel characters, and they destroyed her because they don't know what they're doing. I did a clip in one of my videos of all of the writers for most of the D+.
We're going
shows,
somewhere with this, I promise.
Disney Plus. Stating that they didn't know anything about the comics and they didn't read the comics. And that's part of the reason, because they're just there for identity politics. It's simple. We used to joke.
This is like, all he's doing is adding on like anecdotal stuff to the same things he says. This is their playbook. They go, I have specific things like DEI, identity politics, woke this, woke that. They have to weave all of that in to anecdotal stuff so that you, if you're somebody that watches their content, you feel like they're talking specifically to you. They're telling you you should be outraged by all of this because you, the true fan, are being trampled on by a bunch of people that didn't read the comic books, that don't care about the quality of these characters. It is all a manipulation tactic from these channels. Now, we're going to watch here in a second. They're going to get some pushback and watch what happens.
There's a lot of misinformation, and I think the issue is that no one here is actually really reading the real strategy. The problem is several things. There's a missing implication. There has been, arguably, films that were super successful. Black Panther had a predominantly Black cast, not all Black cast, and made $1.3 billion at the box office and had a really successful sequel. The reality is that when you start saying woke or DEI, there's another implication there where you're implying in many ways that what is the opposite of lack of diversity in those films? It's feeding to an all-white cast or majority white cast and a lack of diversity. I don't think that that's what Disney's trying to do, and I don't think that's what Hollywood should do because it doesn't reflect the society we live in. However, what's missing in this conversation is that the reason why a lot of these films are not doing as well is because many of them are spinoffs, sequels, or there's just overall fatigue in the market where people want original stories. So I do think that rather than try to make this a culture war, which really it isn't, it's more of a change in taste from the audiences and what they want. Let's keep it 100.
Notice how they're kind of fidgeting, but they're not saying anything. They don't respond to this. Spoiler alert. Let's just let them finish. They don't respond to this.
Has not really made too many original films that have really been able to be fully marketed. And there's been an oversaturation of them. There's an oversaturation of Marvel. But if you look at other films elsewhere, there has seemed to be a trend of liking diversity, TV shows, streaming platforms. And so it seems to be a little bit intellectually dishonest to frame it in this way.
And they sit here and they never push back. You can go watch the whole interview. They don't push back against anything that he says. So he's over here saying stuff and they're just completely, they're shifting in their chair. They're doing all this stuff. They are not going to respond to any of it because they don't have to. They have no reason to. Let's look at Nerdrotic's channel just one more time before we go. I just want you guys to look at this. How many subscribers he has. He has 1.26 million subs. Even though we've looked at it and his channel's definitely declining in overall subscribers, it's declining in viewership. And what I mean by that isn't that he's losing subscribers. I know a lot of you people out there want to complain with me because you're so fucking stupid you don't understand. What I mean by that is year to year, he is seeing less growth on his channel. You can do the math yourself. Get mad at math. Don't get mad at me. We're seeing it on his channel. We're seeing it on Critical Drinker's channel. We're seeing it on almost everybody in this space. The growth is slowing down. And pretty soon what will happen, and we're already seeing this in some of the other channels, some of the smaller channels, is we're going to see a negative growth, meaning they're not even going to be getting subs year to year that will factor in. It's going to be so small and it'll get to a point where it's actually going away. Eric July is actively losing subscribers from his channel. He's actively losing them. And he's one of the biggest ones in this space that is literally people are unsubscribing from his channel. Outrage has a ceiling. And even though the professor brought it up and made it seem very clear, that ceiling is different depending on what kind of media you're talking about. A lot of people have moved away from the fandom stuff and they've moved over to politics. And over there, the ceiling is much higher. It's a much higher ceiling for outrage. And this is all they want to do. They want to keep selling you outrage. So what I'm saying to you is if you're watching my video, you stumbled upon my video and you're a subscriber of these channels or you're people that watch these content creators and you follow them on social media, they are not doing you any favors. This is not a good community for you. You might think it is, but the only way you would actually get anything good out of this community is if you're an actual bad person. I need you to understand that. All the stuff these channels do that you think you might be benefiting from, whether it be community or whatever it is you think you're getting out of it, if you are not actively moving away from it or aware of the outrage they're selling you and the disconnect of relationships and turning you away from being active in the real world, which is what they want. They want you to be stuck in the house, glued to your screen, watching their content on rotation all the time. This is why they have to put out as much content as they do in order to keep you guys tuned into it. Get away from this. It is not healthy for you. Whether you like or dislike these shows and these movies, you can do that by yourself. You don't need these guys to tell you that. You don't need these guys to keep you angry and upset and mad. It is a net negative to your well-being. So even if you don't like me, love yourself enough to walk away from this shit.